What's up guys, this is Ethan and today we're here with one of the newest products of the IcePod lineup, and that is the Long Pod. The Long Pod joins in as the third addition to the entire IcePod, or I should say the Pod Company's total ice bath collection. It features increased insulation, a new tub-like design, as well as sturdy metal frames, which are actually pretty game-changing. So while the Long Pod still is in pre-order, we managed to not only get the Long Pod itself, but the entire Long Pod bundle. This includes its insulated cover, insulated lid, and cover lid. So now that we have all those small details out of the way, let's dive right into it. But before we do that, let's talk a bit more about what this bundle is all about. Now, first things first, we have our cover lid, our insulated lid, and finally our ultra insulated cover. Now, both the insulated lid as well as the ultra insulated cover both feature a 0.6-inch insulation. And just like the Long Pod itself, it features a high-strength, UV-resistant nylon fabric. Then we have our cover lid, which acts as another layer of protection from bugs and other debris getting into the water. So now that we have the bundle portion of the review out of the way, let's actually get into the Long Pod itself and what it's all about. Now, because I was able to get a hold of this before pre-order, it has been really nice to try out this new style of pop-up, being this long tub-like version. One of the main reasons I say that is because in my previous video about the IcePod Pro, or really just both IcePods, is that their stability overall was very much lacking. As we can see with this one though, with these new metal frames that I was talking about, saying that it was pretty game-changing, you can even see the water here. Even when giving it good solid shakes, you can see that it is not uprooting like at all. It even has this little grip tape down here, which I think also helps with that. And while yes, it does still have the standard play, it does hold itself really well, and I'm actually pretty impressed. Another impressive thing about this is the fact that something of this size is actually portable. Now again, yes, it is a pop-up cold plunge, but normally with something of this size, you just don't see that being an option. Considering that the Pod Company actually went into that direction of giving us a larger pop-up option is incredibly nice. So because the Pod Company created this larger version, it does check off a lot more people's boxes as far as availability to get what they are looking for in a cold plunge. Now, while we did just have the conversation of how a pop-up and something of this size can be portable, we do have to get into how big it actually is. Now, when we go searching for the Long Pod and go onto Pod Company's website, we see that it has a capacity of 126 gallons or 480 liters. Its dimensions are 62 inches by 27 inches in width and 21 inches in height, and is suitable for people up to 6 feet and 9 inches tall. So one additional thing that I do want to add while I am on the topic of dimensions is its low profile. While nothing about the looks really shocked me at first, seeing how low it actually was, as you can see, I'm 5'7" and it comes right down to my knee. So if you're someone who is looking for something to be low and you don't have to almost hurdle over to get into your ice bath, this is actually going to be really nice for that. And to give you a better look of the size, I am going to be hopping in for a size comparison. So as you guys can hopefully see here, I am 5'7". So you can see I do still have quite a bit of leg space, and I am still quite a bit upright as well, which is pretty important to keep in mind. So as the Pod Company mentioned, and as I also mentioned, if you are 6'9", this will be perfectly fine, especially once you are fully submerged in the water. So all that being said and done, is the Long Pod worth it? Now, the Long Pod comes in at around $399, while the Standard and the Pro are $99 to $149. So is it actually worth the extra $200? And in this case, instead of giving it a straight up yes, I'm gonna say it depends on what you're actually looking for. If you are someone who values more size or even just a larger pop-up in general, someone who maybe isn't worried so much about portability, I'm gonna say the Long Pod is probably gonna be the one for you. If you are someone who likes just more of the standard pop-up and does enjoy that portability factor in a pop-up, I'm gonna say probably go for the Pro. While this is the extra $200, and of course you get the extra insulation, the metal frames, just better stability, which I kind of took a hard knock at the Pro IcePod in my previous video. Overall, I don't know if you necessarily need this much of an extra size for an ice bath. And if you're already comfortable with the standard size of a normal pop-up, the extra $200 might not be worth it for you. Overall though, for anyone who is wondering just is this worth it in general, I am gonna say yes. And again, as I'll mention for probably the third time, it has better insulation. The metal frames here, which have great stability. I'm not gonna have to knock at it this time. Overall, it's just really nice, especially if you get the bundle along with it. With the bundle, again, you'll get even greater insulation because of the cover that goes all the way around. You'll also have the insulation lid sitting here in the water itself, as well as the cover lid on top, adding for extra protection, again, from debris or dirt or bugs or anything else actually getting in the water, making it any dirtier. So if that's something that you're not actually interested in and you just want the layout, you just want the extra size for it, then it is only $2.99 for just the long pod itself. And in that case, I will say yes, that it is worth it if you are looking for the size, length, and everything else to it. All right, guys, that's gonna end it off for today's review on the long pod. If you do have any other comments, questions, or concerns, as always, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. And if you are looking to pick up the long pod or anything else from icepod.com, you can get $10 off your order using my link and code down below. And of course, take care.